Hey guys, it's Super here. So today I'm back with the limited time hero tier list, and this is going to be an updated version from the one that I've made previously. So first of all, I want to give credits to whoever made this tier list. They've added basically every single hero, and it is also pretty up to date. And I just simply had to add some updated, or rather the most recent limited time hero, which is Boreas over here. And let's get right into it. So I'm also doing it in the order in which the heroes come out, which means unsurprisingly, in general, we will see the heroes, for the most part, go from top to the bottom. So first off, we have Boreas, and unsurprising to anyone, Boreas should belong in the SS tier. He's simply amazing in like every single scenario. He's an amazing defender, of course, gives your team basically immunity, permanent immunity for that matter, unless your team takes 3 layers of direct damage. That in itself is already extremely strong. He hard counters characters like Giselle, and he does do some really good damage on his own, both in PvP and PvE. Right now he's in the meta PvP team, and in PvE he has users basically in every single content you can afford to use him at. So very obvious SS tier. Next we have Felicia, and Felicia I'm going to put in the S tier. So Felicia on release did make her mark, especially in PvP, by fully countering characters like Murongjing, reducing his defense to 1, making his healing and damage much lower than normal. And besides that, she did also find some spots in various PvE related content. In things like dungeons, she's actually pretty useful in some areas to give your team both damage and survivability. In Faction Abyss, obviously she's going to be amazing for her own faction. Things like Planar Rifts as well, she's going to be very strong. And probably the most important content for her is 7 Sages of Luli, where in difficulty 7 she is most or definitely required. So that being said, she's since fallen out from the classic arena meta. However, she still finds her slot in 3v3/5v5 in the Pursue and Attack team, and is a pretty integral character for that meta, and that's why she belongs in S tier. Next we have Nicolith. Nicolith belongs in SS tier. She's just so core in so many teams, things like PvP. Since the moment she's been released, she's been basically part of any relevant meta team. Any single team which wants a defender is going to want her. And for PvE as well, she's used basically everywhere you can use her because of both her survivability and her damage increase for your team. So the things worth highlighting first of all is her Shelter of Faith buff, which allows you to not go past certain damage thresholds at 66% and 33% HP at exclusive 3. And she also does her Reappearance buff, which allows your highest attack characters such as your Boreas, your Vasily, your Marie, whoever is the highest attack in your team, to use their specials twice in a row in one go, and that obviously essentially doubles your damage dealt. Besides that, she of course has other buffs which simply just makes your team take much less damage, and she also increases the damage dealt by her team as well. So SS tier. Next we have Apsara. Apsara is another character which has basically been core in every single team that she can be put in since her release. The main reason for this is because of her damage record. This is unsurprising considering that, if you can record damage, you're essentially doubling or just multiplying whatever damage you do by default by that amount damage recorded, and that alone is extremely strong, coupled alongside characters like Hania, which instantly deal damage equivalent to the amount of damage recorded. If it's sufficient to kill an enemy, she's going to be very strong. She's basically not left the PvP meta since her release. This is also because of things like her turn meter related reduction and increases. So all around, just an amazing character, and unless they have implement some mechanic to prevent damage recording, or they simply release an even stronger damage recorder, I highly doubt she's going to be leaving the SS tier any soon. Next we have Marie. This is going to surprise many people, and I'll explain my rationale behind it, and I'm actually going to put my Marie in S tier. So obviously when it comes to PvE, Marie is obviously basically the best hero you can have. You combine it with Apsara and Nicolith, and she's basically the best nuker you can have in any single area of content that you can use her in. And even in PvP, she is still extremely strong. So you may wonder, why am I not putting her in SS tier? There's only one reason for this, and that reason is that she's no longer being used in the 1v1 Classic Arena meta. So the current meta for Classic Arena is along the lines of Apsara, Nicolith, Boreas, Lydia, and Hania. Some people use characters like Murongjing instead, for example, but despite the various team variations in the 1v1 Classic Arena meta, Marie is not part of it. So besides that, she's still a very strong character in 3v3, of course. She's, I would say, the best character in PvE content. I think not many people will dispute me for that. Maybe some people will say like things like Apsara, but Apsara is used alongside Marie, so it's part of that same core team. And Marie still is, in many regards, the strongest character in many different areas of content. So don't let this S tier deceive you, I guess. There's a reason why I'm also putting her at the very top of S tier. The only reason why she's not in SS tier is because she is not in the 1v1 Classic Arena meta team, once again. Next, we have Giselle. Giselle belongs in S tier. She's actually not used in Classic Arena 1v1 meta team, well, unsurprisingly, because we now have Boreas, which just counters her. She's used in 3v3, primarily in the control team. Besides that, she's just a very, very strong, well-rounded character. Amazing in content such as dungeons, especially in the earlier stages 40 and below. She's just good in basically anywhere you can put her. One of the best characters at Exclusive 0 as well. Not that this tier list takes that into account, but just as an additional statement. Yeah, she's just really strong in every single area of content, and still, of course, by far the best poison damage dealer. Next, we have Murongjing. Murongjing belongs in S tier as well. He has seen some use in the Classic Arena PvP team. There are some people experimenting with him, although that being said, he does still kind of get countered by Felicia against Felicia teams because Felicia will reduce his defense to 1. That's one really limiting factor preventing him from moving up to SS tier. Besides that, amazing defender in the game, of course, still amazing in dungeons, amazing in PvP as well. Primarily, we see him being used in the HP deduction team, which is, of course, used in 3v3/5v5. So another amazing character. Next, we have Irato. Irato belongs in the S tier. Irato is just another phenomenal damage dealer, especially for HP burn. Even outside of HP burn, she's very amazing, and she's used in all areas of content where you can use her, of course, assuming you don't have maybe the perfect meta team, but she works very well in things like dungeons because her Pursue and Attack special 2 bypasses immunity. She's used in the Pursue and Attack team, I believe, in 3v3/5v5 content, in the Pursue and Attack team once again, and just a very, very amazing character all around. Does lots of damage. Her passive, I believe it's her exclusive 2, also helps to reduce the damage your team takes by a certain amount, which is of course very nice and can help in some PvP related scenarios. So once again, a very nice character. Next we have Beatrix, and Beatrix actually belongs in the B tier. So Beatrix is still a very good character, and primarily her users are in PvE content, especially related to boss killing content, things like world boss events that we have, things like Wuthering Coast, things like Broken Land, the ultimate challenge or whatever it's called, the final fight, and she's just primarily a buffer. However, besides that, she isn't really used in that much dungeon related content, and even in PvP, she does see some use in 5v5 but not in 3v3 anymore, and that's why I can only warrant giving her the B tier. Next we have Sun Wukong. Sun Wukong I'm going to put in A tier. The reason for this is he's still a fantastic shooter, gives your team massive amounts of survivability, and all around, just a very solid character even in dungeons and many areas of content such as direct damage related content. So he is definitely not deserved an S tier because he isn't as prevalent as these other characters and isn't as strong as a character standalone as compared to these other characters as well. But he still has his users, especially in 3v3. He finds a slot in the Pursue and Attack team, I believe, and still a very strong character wherever you can fit him. Next we have Jingle Bell. Jingle Bell I'm going to actually put in, I believe, B tier. So Jingle Bell is still a very decent character, does lots of direct damage. However, the only downside and why she's not going any higher is because she's basically completely outclassed by Marie. Marie is better in PvP, Marie is just simply better in any form of direct damage related content, and Marie also has the additional resonance tag which makes her more versatile as well. So there's really no reason for you to go for Jingle Bell anymore because Marie just is simply better in basically every single scenario, and that just because there's a directly better character, that doesn't mean this makes her worse in any aspect, right? She still remains her or retains her original strength, and I think it's fair to give her a B tier rating. A very solid direct damage dealer, just not much reason to invest in her, especially if you're going to spend when you can get Marie instead. Next we have Jack and Roll. Jack and Roll belongs in B tier. He's a very simple character, gives speed up 2, gives turn meter, and just a very all-rounded supporting character. He's very good from Exclusive 0, of course, which is always nice, but once again, not the primary consideration for this tier list, and just useful in some niche PvP content, similar to Beatrix as well. One thing I'll highlight about Big Jack in particular is that he is almost mandatory. He's not 100%, but he does make your life a lot easier for Maria's Dungeon 41 to 50, where he's basically the only option unless you have an extremely strong Chelsea, and still a very useful character, especially if you use him alongside characters like Lydia for massive cooldown reductions. Next we have Hingy. Hingy is the only character I will be putting on D tier today. She's basically outclassed every single place, not used in PvE, and in PvP I think only some people, very few people, use her in Championship 5v5, and in those scenarios it's only because there's really not many other better characters. Next we have Esther. Esther I'm going to put into B tier. She also has a, similar to Beatrix and Jack and Rose, she has some of her PvE related niches. There are some PvE content where you want to use her. Of course, I think nowadays with many newer characters, she is much more easily replaceable, but she's still a very solid option. In PvP, you may find some use in her in 5v5 as a more budget option for some teams, but besides that, not too much other use for her. Next we have Lydia. Lydia goes into A tier. I think this might be higher than where I ranked her previously, or at minimum, my thoughts on her has improved since the previous time I made my limited time hero tier list. The main reason for this is she is now back in the PvP meta. She's never really left as far as a 3v3 or at least 5v5 goes, but this time, especially with the Boreas team, Lydia has found herself in the 1v1 classic arena meta, which of course is very important. And outside of that, she still sees a lot of use in various contents. Some dungeons, people use her. I think one area of content where she is used a lot more than normal is Purgatory of 7 Sins. And outside of that, there is still many areas of content where she is good to be used as well. Very irreplaceable character because of her cooldown reduction amongst many other buffs, and a very strong character all around. Next we have Pauline, and I'm actually going to rank the last two heroes together, Pauline and Santa, and I'm going to put them both in C tier. So both of them, I'm ranking them together because you can get them both from the Rainbow Diamond chest. Both are very solid characters. Santa, I would say, is the better one and usually the priority to get from the Rainbow Diamond chest alongside Lydia. Santa is very good with his speed up 2, his Christmas apple buff, his shields, his speed down to an enemy, and his freeze, all very useful, especially for dungeons from stages 40 and below. Next we have Pauline. Pauline is very strong for PvP, and in PvP he is just gives your team lots of survivability with his tenacity, I believe his stealth as well, some heals as well. Just a very useful character all around, although he has been definitely outclassed. Now, I think there's one more character I think I'm missing, and over here, Little Jack. Little Jack belongs in C tier. He's still used in some burn teams, but at this point, burn is just a very weak damage type, and Little Jack is probably going to be amongst the next few characters to get replaced in that burn team. That's my prediction. And she's really just like hanging on by a thread onto the burn team, and the only reason why she's there is simply because burn team is really weak, and Little Jack itself, outside of that very niche use case in burn team, isn't going to be that useful for you. That's why she lands herself in C tier. So going through this list one more time, there's only two real things I would consider moving around. The first is that I would think of moving perhaps Esther down to C tier. I think this is definitely fair. And the second thing is maybe Marie can go to SS tier, but once again my justification is that Marie doesn't belong in the PvP Classic Arena 1v1 team. So yeah, let me know what you guys think about this ranking. Of course, this is, as with most tier lists and rankings, very opinion based. However, I think this is a pretty fair assessment, and of course, if you guys have conflicting opinions, feel free to let me know in the comment and let me know why you think a specific character should be given a higher or lower tier, and of course, I'm very happy to discuss with you guys what I think about it. So with that, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.